The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, we go into the breach, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
As we join the market, already in progress, the S&P's up 9, the Dow's up 97, the Nasdaq's flat. What do we have for the Russell? Down 11 points, 1671. Crude's still off 60 cents, although the Baker Hughes numbers came out just a little while ago, and well, actually an hour ago. Really hasn't done much to it, but they were a little bullish, but they've been bearish for almost 8 weeks in a row for the total, not just the U.S., but especially the Canadian numbers have really been showing how much they've been adding. Gold up $3.60. I'm showing $1223.70. And of course, all that matters now in the Nasdaq and others that have Apple in them is that Apple's higher. It's 78 cents higher. Did pull back to 205.49. But what do we have? We've got a index now that 16%, almost, and getting close to 17% of the entire NASDAQ is one stock, and that stock is Apple. One stock to rule them all. I don't understand the sudden bullishness. Maybe there's something I don't understand. This is actually wasn't that good of an earnings cycle. As I said before, though, tough to say where Apple's going. It's got the most and best manipulator of stocks there is. And that's by buying up as much of it as you can. You set the price. Anyway, Mr. Buffett and his scallywags. I don't get to use that word much anymore. I wanted to get it in today. From Omaha, can pretty much corner the market on a single stock like they have on Apple. And between buying shares from the company itself and buying shares themselves, it's hard to not figure out a scenario where Apple actually can set the price. I'm going to talk about something today in the 3 o'clock hour with Tommy O'Brien. He'll join me for the Tech Insider Hour. We'll talk all things of the market. But there's some stuff that could weigh it down. We'll have to look at it. I am fairly nervous about the market, and mostly that has to do with volume that should have picked up today. As we start the beginning of our show, we only have about 3.6 billion shares on the CBOE market volume summary. And man, you know, coming back up to these levels, I'd want more volume than we had last time. It looks to me like we're going to have less. I dislike the volume that we pushed up on yesterday. The volume down, though, also less when we went below 2,800. So we have no clear signal, and we have no clear volume telling us higher or lower. Generally, what happens is a lot of people do dumb things, and the market takes off to the wrong direction in these kind of narrowing bands of trading. And generally, the thing you want to do is fade the first breakout of these. And man, it looks like that may be higher. I may get bearish before this is all over. I may get bullish. But right now, I tell you what, it is harder for me to find a stock that I could sleep overnight with. There are a lot of stocks I can trade for the next 3 or 4 hours. Not a lot of stocks I can trade for the next 3 or 4 days. A little bit more on the way of earnings coming out next week, but literally nothing I think that will change the market. So these numbers are about it. Now, earlier we did have at 8:30 jobs numbers, and I have to. Someone said it in the den that Mr. Steve Lee lies, as I call him, Liesman. Anybody that's an economist, I generally discount right off the bat. I haven't found maybe one or two of them that wouldn't go instantly broke in the stock market if given a decent amount of money and tell them to go trade it. They'd be they blow up pretty quick generally. One of the things that was interesting to me, I got to go back and look at the transcripts of the conversation, was that when someone brought up that the last 3 times this number came out, it was incredibly adjusted higher after it came out. Somebody's sandbagging that's putting those numbers together, because the last 3 times they've been revised much higher. And that is, a couple of years ago, we had lots, I think a GDP number of 5 that ended up being reduced down to 3.8 later, just the other. So I think we've got at least some people looking at this market extremely half empty instead of half full, as long as the numbers get revised up. I don't think today's numbers are anything bad. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. I'm hoping the caller that wanted my opinion on jazz calls back today, so I can apologize. I was short with him. Man, when you get into the last 2.5 minutes of the show, you don't get a lot of time, and I didn't want a comment that he made, not that it was bad. I handled it poorly. But he said somebody said X was going higher, or that they knew it was going higher. And I wanted to get into that thought pattern where someone knew anything a bit. So maybe we'll get lucky and he'll call back. I think a lot of people can think or speculate or even gamble that a stock or an index is going somewhere. When I hear that I know it's going higher, man, that kind of really starts to make me think that we need to examine my thought process and others too. But doesn't reflect on whether jazz is going higher or lower, just on the fact that nobody can really tell. And years ago, you did know. These CEOs were going around blabbing to everybody on the street. In 2001, you could go in, and within a couple of days, if everybody was selling, you knew they were going to miss the numbers. They'd already told everybody. The housekeeper was fired. Other things happened. Everybody knows. Now, you tell somebody, you go to jail. And we've seen a great deal of that. It just doesn't happen anymore. But hopefully we get that caller to call back today. Yep, Mr. James. In the meantime, back in just a minute, do a little history and move on.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1948, hearings before the House of Un-American Activities. Whitaker Chambers accuses former State Department official Alger Hiss of being a communist and a spy for the Soviet Union. The acquisition is set into motion. A series of events eventually resulted in the trial and conviction of Hiss for perjury. Many people hung on this for many years as a overreach. But what did we find after the Soviet Union did fall? His name was all over all kinds of paperwork showing that from his handlers, showing that he was, in fact, being paid as a spy for the Soviet Union. This was a tough time, kind of like now, where everybody gets accused and you really don't get a chance to present your side of the case. He certainly did in court. The downside was he probably should have been shot as a spy and got away with 3 years. He got away extremely lucky. Many other people in the Soviet Union and around the world paid a very heavy price for communism and the Red Menace. People talk about it today. It was a real thing back then. The Soviet Union was just a year away from exploding, 2 years away from exploding a hydrogen bomb. In fact, I think by now they actually had already exploded their nuclear bomb this year in 1948. Anyway, nothing new. Everybody always thinks that everything's new. Everybody's spying on everybody. The U.S. paid $300 million in 2012 to put 100,000 people on the street to overthrow Putin. I just suspect that he's getting back at us. There's an old saying, and that is, if you're going to kill the king, you better kill him. And we didn't. We'll be talking about more of that, about what's going on in elections from a technical perspective in the next hour with, of course, Tommy O'Brien. What else did I want to get into? I think that's about it for Histoire. Did want to get into jazz because I didn't get a chance to yesterday. So we will pop that up and see if there's anything in this for earnings next week. There is a horrible problem that I have, which trying to get into and actually prognosticate earnings anymore, and that is that a great deal of what can be said for forecasts, no one can figure out. I know what 1,000 people will do or 100,000 people will do, but a handful of 2 or 3 people in an executive suite, I do not know. They can come out like Caterpillar and say that the end is nigh, and 3 months later tell everybody that the low is in and nothing but blue skies from here on out. Was it true when he said things were difficult 3 months ago for Caterpillar? And did he lie this time? Did he lie both times? Or was he just wrong? And that is the problem. Generally, I believe in the wisdom of crowds, and that doesn't mean that I get to actually put a wager down on something that I don't have an abiding belief that I have some kind of edge in it. Now, for Jazz Pharmaceuticals, I see no edge. The energy on the way up from this 170 low on June 28th is about the same that it came back down off the June 10th high at 180.86. As it tested 180 yesterday, it did so on just slightly lighter volume, about 50,000 shares compared to that June 28th low. My thought in this one is, unless I knew inside information, which I do not know, or knew somebody that did, which they'll be going to jail, I don't know how you could bet either for or against bullish or bearish on this stock. It is like a great deal out here. We just continue to see narrowing trading ranges and very little, if any, signals beyond a handful of hours. So that is my answer about Jazz Pharmaceutical from yesterday. Got a question out here. Is the QQQ going to make meaningful new highs? I suspect it will, but at the same time, could we have a nice little dip before it does so? Again, I've got one stock that I'm long. It has an implied put on it from the company themselves. It's not going lower than where I bought it at. They've got share buybacks, and this isn't just like your average share buyback. They're going to be buying shares back. So I've got an implied put on it. I can hold that particular stock long. What I don't know is the very short-term ramifications of any news that hits the market. When you get a sailboat, one of the first things you learn is until you start moving a little bit, that rudder doesn't do you any good. It's just sitting in still water. You can move it back and forth, and you move it one way, you move a little bit, move it the other way, you move a little bit back the same way. You've got to have water moving across the keel and across the rudder to move it. And as we get slower and slower, we get lighter volume both up and down. What generally happens is some news event that I can never seem to forecast comes out of the blue, and we move one way or the other. And in my biggest hopes, it would be to the downside. It quickly extinguishes, and then we get set up for a rally into the fall. I don't see anything in any of the data that says we're going lower. I can see a handful of days where they could scare some people out of the market and then take a run. But I would say, we have a extremely good opportunity to go higher this fall. All the numbers continue to come in well. There is a big rotation now, and that rotation is into a very handful of stocks. That is always a reason to be nervous about. But at the same time, I'm looking at it as an opportunity to buy those stocks that no one talks about every day, and buy probably the one with the highest short interest in it. And when the thing turns around, I'm going to make some money, and it's probably going to be fairly quick. So that's kind of my thoughts right now. Yes, I think the QQQ is going to make something higher. Will it take some kind of consolidation or even a pullback on these? But yeah, when we get into earnings 3 months from now, they are only going to be better than these. Everything's been moving forward. Like I said, the last 3 months have only been revised higher in the GDP. And hard to tell who's sandbagging those numbers, but they aren't going lower. So I'm fairly bullish. Man, would I like to see a decent signal though. And preferably, everybody gets blown out for a couple of days and I get to buy people. We'll be back in.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Wanted to take another look at Tesla and see what it's doing today. Kind of interesting to see this company at the highest shorts ever in a particular stock, with almost $11 billion in shares short for Tesla. Went a little higher to 355. This is the problem when everybody knows the eventual end of the movie. But we haven't gotten to Act 3 yet. You had, 23 million shares yesterday. So you really want to see this thing go to 364.78, which is the July 2nd high, and close enough to 373 that you could make yet another new high. We'd also want to see everybody quit shorting of this stock. My guess is it won't. And as long as everybody keeps shorting, it'll probably go higher, which only makes it better for me, because as soon as they quit shorting, I'll be more than willing to step in. It's a $40 stock. Unfortunately, the market can be a little crazy, mostly longer than you can remain solvent if you're shorted. But no, there's no way in the world this is worth 355. It's worth about $40 if they can carry a 10% margin. But you know what? When everybody wants to know it, that's it. It's like everything. There's always one of these stocks that seems to come along that defies all logic and reason, and it's because everybody wants to believe. In fact, I was talking to somebody this week who wanted to believe in something, and I said, well, you know, some problems are just intractable, but they didn't want to believe that. They did want to believe, though, that we did have, I guess, total control over what happens. But a lot of people just don't want to think about it very much. But, you know, if you want to believe that Elvis is alive, probably doesn't affect many people. Maybe even if you want to believe we didn't go to the moon, it doesn't affect many people. But, man, if you make some things like maybe Hitler's really not that bad, it can be a big problem. So you don't want to be too far off in the weeds on the big things. Anyway, on Tesla, everything that we know is going to happen is like watching a tragic movie in a Shakespearean play. It is that they're going to have to spend billions and billions and billions. When it gets down to it, they're going to invest a lot of money to get about 10% margins, maybe 8% margins, like everybody else does. Right now, how long they can keep the books looking like they are, hard to tell. But they can make it look for a while that they're making 25% margins when everybody else is making less than 10. Every other car company in the world making less than 10% margins on their products. But you know what? It's not going to matter. When everybody finally throws in the towel and decides to go long, that is generally when this thing will fall. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Okay. And just to follow up on that question someone else asked me, I'm just sitting here waiting for a signal. I'm trying not to anticipate it, but days like this where we go up on no volume, back up, or even lighter volume that we had at 28.45 makes me think that there is a problem. Now, maybe we just jump the gap and we get all the volume that we need, in which case we'll pull back down. We pull back down on lighter volume, then that will be an opportunity to buy. But man, having to be in this market is not something I want to do right now. Like I said, I have a very tough time owning anything overnight because there just aren't any clear signals on, I'd say, 99% of the stock. They're just going sideways, and in the case of a lot of small caps, going lower. So what can you say? What do we have here? I want to look at a couple other ones. Anyway, we looked at Tesla. Facebook, I want to see how this was doing. Certainly don't have any volume. Man, I would love for this thing to get back up to 195. My guess is I'm not going to get that opportunity. The more I look at this, the more it does look like Facebook is going to go lower. Certainly don't have any volume in the move higher today, even though it's fairly benign in this movement. Here, let's get to this. But you've got that gap. The gap goes back to the 5th of July. That is right there at 195. generally those gaps give you a good indication of 195 to 200 is where you'd want to short this thing. I don't think anything changes in this significantly. They are going back to Washington, D.C., and by them, I mean Facebook and Twitter. There is legislation pending, and we'll talk about that with Tommy in the next hour. But that legislation is going to be very interesting, but also I don't think anybody at Twitter or Facebook will want to get into it. They have allowed Facebook to kind of get away with his previous testimony, but now they're going to be dragging in people that are technically adept and know exactly the answers to the questions. This isn't going to be just dragging somebody in front of Congress to shame them. This will be dragging people in front of them that if they don't give them the truth could go to jail. And these people are probably going to tell the truth, and that won't be a happy day for Facebook and Twitter and some of these other folks. Their misdeeds will be coming to light. Let's take a quick look at Twitter, TWTR. Probably the most egregious of these folks. This thing has not bounced that much. 3107 was the low on July 30th. It's gotten to $32.99. This again goes back to the indexes. And in my opinion, of course, you can have a lot of stocks going higher and Apple going lower, or Twitter going lower, or Facebook going lower. And they can drag down the indexes, while a lot of these other stocks actually have a fairly decent, bright future. And that continues to be a problem. If people only look at the indexes and only play the big ETFs, they're going to miss the fact that the big money is in stocks that they aren't much looking at. Wanted to see how Snap was doing, because it's really the odd man out on this one as a public company. This one actually popped a little today, but again, there's just no volume in these things. 8 million shares today compared to almost 12 million shares yesterday, and 27 million shares on the day down day, and pretty much on the back of Facebook. So, can we go higher? I think we can. I think we need to watch out a few of these people at the bottoms. That probably, hopefully, is coming next week.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. Look at a few more here. We got the last 20 minutes. You got plenty of time to email me at path@tfnn.com or give me a call at 877-927-6648. What do I have? Go back here and look at some of the other ones that I've been looking at for a while. Go ahead and look. Agilent Technologies, AGs, T's, and C's. The big guy on the block when it comes to genetics. Was watching this one. It's just bouncing around the $66 range. It bounced off of it with about the same volume. It's done that before, off this huge gap down that goes back to the 15th of May, 14.5 million shares. Bouncing, it's at 2.9 million shares on July 11th or June 11th, and 2.6 million shares on July 26th. So again, we've got a lot of these things that just look rather range bound, but at the same time, you know, you did have a test of 14.4 million shares on May 15th, tested with 1.5 million shares on June 28th. So again, very limited risk reward on these. And the question is whether or not you're going to try to bet on stocks going higher. Advanced Auto Parts basically hitting around the 145 area. No new news on that one. Let's see. Arbor Realty and Trust, ABR. Some of these real estate companies are really kind of interesting in what they're doing. This one, at least, is testing the July 17th high of $11.72 that had almost 9 million shares, with about 1.4 million shares today. ABX, Barrick Gold, this continues to kind of bounce around the $11 range. Volume is lighter. Energy, though, was heavier on the way back down. That March $11.07 low is the key. You're back into that trading range today with 7.8 million shares. So not a lot of volume to blow out the lows. But again, man, did you come down pretty heavy on the 26th with 27 million shares. Still didn't blow out that low, but I don't see the impotence to go see how anything's much higher. In fact, when we look at the dollar index today, this thing looks, and one of the reasons I'm kind of sitting on my hands is this dollar index looks to me like Larry Pesavento has got the bullseye on it, and that is the market's going to move when this thing blows through 95. Now, maybe it goes up there, blows through 95, and instantly fails. Or maybe it goes up there and sticks. But we're printing off here on the DXU8 contract on the $1.94. $14.97. Acadia Pharmaceuticals bouncing around the 14.90 level. These, again, no real clear signal higher or lower. There were a few others I wanted to look at in this sector. Adobe continues to be in its trading range that starts at about $235 from this June 25th low. Got down to 240 on this plunge on the 30th. Now kind of coming back up. 1.5 million shares so far today compared to the 5.5 million shares down on the 30th of July. So again, these things are wrapping up into fairly tight trading ranges. What else do I want to look at in this one? There are a few more. B-Box. That isn't it. Oh, there it is. Regular box. Questions on this. And again, you kind of gone through a little bit of the May 31st low that had 21 million shares, but you only did it with 4 million shares. So now you're kind of creeping back into the trading range. It doesn't look like you're going to close back above that 24.49, but if you did, that does put you back into the trading range. A lot of these are just, I mean, they're stuck in these tight ranges, and it's going to be a while till these things come out. The Cheesecake Factory came out with earnings and got blown apart. Not seeing much. You had a little bit of a push yesterday and nothing yet today. This got down to $48.03 just a couple of days ago. Let's go back out here and look. Okay, Decker's another one that got blown apart. Now this one almost came back and finished the gap today. Looks like some people actually on top of this. This, you know, there aren't a lot of stocks that are lining up for something that looks to me like it could be a short position. That would have been one, especially on the light volume. You were down on 105 million shares on July 27th. You're up on 400,000 shares today, back up, filling that gap. Don't really understand. You didn't have much yesterday, 528,000 shares. Came down, it missed, it's came back up, it's filled this gap, which didn't last very long. Starting to wonder whether or not that happened at all. One of the other things that is going on is Dollar Tree is getting back up into this area that could be a potential short. This gap down on earnings on the May 31st. I think they got earnings coming up here shortly. Down 18.4 million shares on that day. You're back up into that about 3 million shares. Doesn't seem like a lot of impotence to go chasing those down. Okay. I wanted to look at some others on my list here. Let's take a look at Flextronics, excuse me. This one continues to bang around the lows, but again, no volume on it. Let's take a look. I got a request to look at Microsoft. Okay. Came off. You really didn't have a lot of volume on that. Yesterday did kind of pull back, come back up a bit and got a flat. You really, I think you got 105, which is about all you should expect on this pullback from Microsoft. Earnings were good. There's not a whole lot else you can say. Is the whole market feeling a little frothy? It could be. But is there any bad news that's going to specifically hit Microsoft? The answer is no. Okay, let's look at something else. Somebody wanted me to look at Starbucks. You know, I would love for this to get back to about 56 bucks. It's going up on very light volume. I don't think you're going to get that. One of the more interesting stories, do we have time? I don't think we do. One of the, well, we'll talk about this, the technical part, and we'll talk about the stories of Starbucks in a minute. But interesting that this came down on such hard volume back here on to the 20th of July, did so, 20th of June, excuse me, did so on 62 million shares. you're right back to that level now, about 6 million shares, pushing into that day that had 62 million shares on the downside. But one of the more interesting stories out here, maybe we'll get to Star. We'll get back.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
My dad, may he rest in peace, always had great advice, such as, if you want more, you have to become more. It's been a guiding light that has driven me to always be the best that I can be. When it came to trading and investing, I wanted more, and so I developed a set of disciplined tools that led me to become the #1 market timer for the S&P 500, according to Timer Digest. Dad went on to say, if you want more, you have to give more, which is why I took those same disciplined tools and created a black box that could look at any instrument for any time frame and tell subscribers and I whether it was bullish, bearish, where support or resistance was, and whether an instrument was forming a top or a bottom. The scans from my black box are now a part of the Mastering Probability service, which allows me to give more to subscribers. This coming Tuesday, August 7th, from 5 to 6 p.m., I'm holding an open house at TFNN.com, and I'd like to invite you to see the power of my black box. When it comes to trading and investing, I know I can help you become more too. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com to sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. I'll be here in the next hour with Tommy O'Brien. We'll be talking technology, kind of throwing the old baseball around of ideas. What a torture analogy that is. We had John in Detroit asking about HACK, which is the security ETF. Energy on the way down off the highs at 39.54. Came down on more energy, but you didn't break it out with, in fact, you had less volume down here on this July 31st low with 376,000 compared to 600,000 shares, actually 630 back on June 28th. Anytime anything comes down on more energy, that is the signal for me to say that you're going to at least need some level of consolidation. When I look at my sector indicators, it also tells me that you've got a few more days to wait on buying any of those cybersecurity stocks. Not much volume out here today. I still think that something's going to happen, and I'm more than willing to sit back without a clear and abiding belief in one way that the market's going higher. Will Amazon Web Services and excuse me. Okay. Amazon Web Services and Azure see business sales surge once autonomous cars are plugged in. There's a lot of stuff out there. Cars, I think, are going to be the minority of these things. There are everything from traffic lights to heating and air conditioning. If you can get to it wirelessly, I think you're going to see these things plugged in. But I think everybody's got one car, but they probably have 20 things that can be plugged in via 5G when it comes out. So I'm going to say that I'm not looking for the cars to be the important thing, although that will be a big hunk of it. I'm looking for everything else that can be online that is an Internet of Things. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We will see you back here in just a few minutes. Tommy.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.